Okie dokie. We got 3 games tomorrow. So, because of the fact that Thursday we have a busy morning, I got the board up here. Did spend a little bit of time in between doing the review of tonight and the preview for tomorrow. Watching a movie with my wife. So, because you gotta make time. And so, now I'm doing the preview. And of course, while the movie was going on, I'm getting this board ready for you fine people, so it all kind of works out. First up, Philadelphia and Boston. So you'll notice looking across the board, all of these teams were in action 2 days ago except New Jersey. So this kind of feels like we're in some weird alternate universe where these are the teams that exist now. Everybody else is gone. It's so weird. This week is so weird. And then the schedule doesn't get any less weird on Thursday where we have 2 games. It's Friday where we have 8 games, and it's like, oh, there is the rest of the league still. So for these teams, it's a chance to maybe make up some ground. It is a chance to pass teams, or at the very least get into the conversation. And let's go ahead and start things off with, because, I got off on a tangent. Philadelphia against Boston. Philadelphia is 21-23-6. They're in against the Boston Bruins, who are 27-17-6, and this makes me nervous. It does. And let's get into why. Philadelphia is 6-3-1 in their last 10. They've won 5 in a row. On the road, they're 10-13-3. Versus the East, they're 11-14-3. Those numbers are bad all over, except the 5 wins in a row. Boston, on the other hand, 27-17-6. They're 5-3-2 in their last 10. They've lost 2 in a row. At home, they're 17-7-2. Versus the East, they're 16-13-2. Not a great record against the East, and not a great record in their last 10. Again, losing 2 in a row, I have some concerns, and I have yet to hear for sure that Tuukka Rask is going to be good to go tomorrow against Philly. That's been the rumor. I wouldn't be surprised if he is, but we'll see, right? And Philly makes me nervous for all the right reasons. Philly is a team with nothing to lose. They're still really far out of a playoff spot, but they've won 5 in a row. They've clearly not given up, and this is a team playing with something they haven't had this season, which is solid goaltending. Their defense seems to be getting better, and they've had the scoring the whole year. Led by Claude Giroux, 14 goals, 38 assists. Voracek, 11 goals, 29 assists. Couturier, 19 goals, 21 assists. Konechny, 13 goals, 15 assists. Simmons, 15 goals and 8 assists. Van Riemsdyk, 13 goals, 10 assists. Gostisbehere, 5 goals, 15 assists. Lawton has 7 goals, 12 assists. Patrick, 9 goals, 8 assists. And Provorov, 4 goals, 13 assists to round out the top 10 for the Philadelphia Flyers. Let's go ahead and turn that up just a little bit. Turn it that way. And there we go. Top 10 scorers for Boston. Pastrnak, or Pasternak, depending on whether you have a Boston accent or not. 28 goals, 31 assists. Marchand, 19 goals, 37 assists. Bergeron, 16 goals, 27 assists. Krejci, 10 goals, 30 assists. Krug, 5 goals, 28 assists. DeBrusk, 14 goals, 4 assists. Kuraly, 6 goals, 8 assists. Heinen, 6 goals, 7 assists. Backes, 5 goals, 8 assists. And Grzelcyk, 1 goal, 12 assists. This is not a great top 10 scoring list for Boston. And the rumors that they're in on Panarin make a lot of sense. The rumor that it might be DeBrusk and a first and second maybe to get Panarin, not a big fan. DeBrusk is the 2015 draft pick that looks like it was a good decision in the first round. And you're going to move him for rental? Don Sweeney would not be making me happy if he did that. So we'll see. But they do need scoring depth, and Panarin would definitely help them with that. He'd be a fantastic winger to have on a line with Krejci. I think that would be fantastic, but I digress. It also means that Boston sees themselves as a team that could potentially make a run at a Stanley Cup, and I don't see them that way. Goaltending, I expect Carter Hart to be the starter. He's 7-5-1, 2.53 goals against, 922 save percentage. He'll be backed up by Stolarz, as McKenna has his conditioning stint in the minors. Stolarz is 3-3-2, 3.44 goals against, 896 save percentage, and 1 shutout. And a conditioning stint just means we don't want to put this guy on waivers. We want to make sure that our goaltending is in good shape before we do anything like that. And when I look at Stolarz and Hart, and I look at what they've done over the last few weeks, I think somewhere Ron Hextall's thrown his hands in the air and is thinking, Where was that when I was GM? Why didn't I bring up Carter Hart earlier in the year? I could have still had my job. Anyways, on the Boston side, again, I expect Rask, if he's healthy, he's 14-8-3, 2.49 goals against, 919 save percentage, and a shutout. Halak is now 13-9-3. Easy for me to say. 13-9-3, 2.49 goals against, 918 save percentage, and 3 shutouts. Halak's numbers have been steadily dropping over the last month and a half. He was, early on in the year, I had people saying, why aren't you talking about him for Vezina when I talk about Vezina contenders? I was like, he's not going to last in that race. And it doesn't look like he's going to. And Rask is the better goaltender of the two at the very least, over the last 6 weeks. So we'll see if that works out for Philly or for Boston. Let's move on to Columbus, the Blue Jackets, who suddenly find themselves in some trouble with the Pittsburgh Penguins winning tonight. Now Columbus is a wild card. So Pittsburgh and Washington would play themselves in the Stanley Cup playoffs if they started today, and Pittsburgh would have home ice advantage. So the more things change, the more they stay the same. Columbus is in against Winnipeg. Winnipeg's 32-16-2, and they're coming off of course, that win against the Boston Bruins in a shootout. Over their last 10, Columbus is 5-5-0. They've lost 3 in a row. On the road, they're 14-8-1 versus the West. They're 9-6-2. Whereas the Winnipeg Jets, 7-3 in their last 10. They won their last game. At home, they're 18-6-2, and versus the East, they're 12-6-1. So when you look at their interconference records, it looks like Winnipeg has an advantage there. When you look at the home road records, it's close. And this game should be close because Columbus should come out with something to prove. Because again, with how close that division is, it really could go any way. Columbus could win it. Islanders, Washington, Pittsburgh, any of them. Scoring leaders for the Columbus Blue Jackets, Panarin, 19 goals, 36 assists. Atkinson with 28 goals now. He still has an outside shot at 50. He does. 28 goals, 22 assists for him. Dubois, 18 goals, 27 assists. Quietly, he's having an excellent season. Jones, 7 goals, 22 assists. Werenski, 9 goals, 18 assists. Foligno, 13 goals, 11 assists. Ryan Murray, 1 goal, 23 assists. Anderson, still at 15 goals, 8 assists for him. Jenner, 9 goals, 12 assists. And Wenberg, 1 goal, 18 assists for him. Rounds out your top 10 for the Columbus Blue Jackets. On the Winnipeg side of things, Blake Wheeler, 9 goals, 53 assists. Scheifele, 25 goals and 36 assists. Connor, 21 goals, 19 assists. Laine, 25 goals, 9 assists. Little, 11 goals, 19 assists. Bufflin, 4 goals, 25 assists. Ehlers, and they miss Ehlers. They do. 15 goals, 12 assists for him. Morrissey, 6 goals, 21 assists. Trouba, 4 goals, 20 assists. And Brandon Tanev, 11 goals, 9 assists, 20 points. Rounds out your top 10 for the Jets. Goaltenders, no confirmation here. I kind of expect Korpisalo in this one, to be honest. But it could be Bobrovsky if they're trying to get his numbers up before a trade, or if they're trying to get him hot, just because they plan to keep him. Whatever reason, we could very well see Bobrovsky in this one. He's 19-15-1, 2.97 goals against, 902 save percentage with 2 shutouts. Those numbers are not fantastic. Before the season, the report was he wanted $11 million a year. He's not getting it. I don't see anybody. I don't see a bidding war ending with $11 million. Unless he stays in Columbus and they win a Stanley Cup. I can't see it. Korpisalo, 9-3-2, 2.95 goals against, 901 save percentage. On the Winnipeg side of things, I expect Hellebuck here. He's 22-14-1, 2.85 goals against, 910 save percentage. Brossoit would be the backup, 10-2-1, 2.09 goals against, 940 save percentage, and a single shutout. And this game really honestly is going to be a fun one because the Winnipeg Jets, while they've looked shaky at times, they still are first in their division, and they're doing everything they can to prove, hey, we belong first in our division, and don't you forget it. Whereas Columbus, they have to be concerned about the fact that they've lost 3 in a row. Pittsburgh's now passed them, and they're one of those teams too that if they're going to make that next step, if they're going to win the first round for the first time in their team's history, they kind of need home ice advantage in the first round to get it done. That would go a long way to making it happen. I really think so. All right, and finally, last but not least, Rangers, Devils. Old-fashioned Patrick Division brouhaha between these two. The Rangers 21-21-7. New Jersey 19-23-7. Both teams look like they're in some sort of a rebuild. With New Jersey, it doesn't feel quite as much like a rebuild as it does with the Rangers, because I don't see a lot of guys getting sold off from New Jersey. But I am ready to start looking ahead to the 2020 free agents picture and saying, hey, 2020 could be a very interesting summer, led by Taylor Hall. But I digress. The Rangers, in their last 10 are 4-6. They lost their last game. On the road, they're 8-14-2. That's a not very good record. And versus the East, they're 11-13-4. Not great, but New Jersey, not much better. They're 4-6 in their last 10 as well. They won their last game, of course, against Pittsburgh. At home, they're 13-6-4, so that's much better than the road record of the New York Rangers. Although, if you look at New Jersey's road record, it stinks. Versus the East, New Jersey's 11-17-3. So, despite the fact that, yes, they beat Pittsburgh, they still, against the East, they've won 11 out of 31 games. That's not good enough. And for New Jersey, I'll be very interested to see who ends up getting sold off. The one name I see here and there is Brian Boyle. I can't see a big return for Brian Boyle. I just can't. Outside of that, there's a lot of good young talent there. Do you look at maybe moving Zajac? I mean, did they get to that level? They say, yeah, we'll do that. Palmieri's not going anywhere. Obviously, Heischer's not going anywhere. Coleman, Severson, Bratt, Butcher. So, yeah, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of changes in New Jersey. The biggest one might be what they do with their goaltenders. Leading scorers, however, we'll do that first. The New York Rangers, Zibanejad, 17 goals, 27 assists, leads them. Kreider, 22 goals, 15 assists. Hayes, 10 goals, 23 assists. And he's come out and said, I'd like to stay with the Rangers. Surprise, surprise. There's a lot of guys who don't want to get traded at the deadline, and it happens. VC, 11 goals, 13 assists. Zuccarello, 8 goals, 16 assists. Pionk, 5 goals, 15 assists. Hedel, 9 goals, 9 assists. Fast, 7 goals, 10 assists. Nemesnikov, 4 goals, 12 assists. Buchnevich, who's been a healthy scratch recently, 9 goals and 6 assists. And there's questions about whether or not he's going to stay as a Ranger. Zuccarello, whether or not he's going to stay as a Ranger. And I think there's some guys who are on the way out. And I still think Nemesnikov's going to end up being shipped out as well. Going to be very interesting to see what the Rangers do, because there's a lot of names on this list. It almost feels like at the end of last year, Bob McKenzie said, the Rangers aren't done. They've got more pieces they're going to sell. And it almost feels like Jeff Gorton hung on to those pieces and is going to sell them at this deadline rather than selling them last summer. Maybe he shopped some guys around. There wasn't enough of a return, and he thought, I'll wait till the deadline the following season, and we'll get better return. We'll see if that's what ends up happening for him. On the New Jersey side, Palmieri leads them in scoring at 23 goals, 16 assists. Taylor Hall, who we're not sure on exactly when he's coming back, 11 goals, 26 assists. Heischer, 13 goals, 19 assists. Zajac, 12 goals, 19 assists. Coleman with 18 goals. Fantastic season for him. And 11 assists. Easy to forget about some guys having good seasons. Like Palmieri's had a couple of really good runs. And Coleman with a solid season. Severson, 7 goals, 17 assists. Bratt, 4 goals, 16 assists. Boyle, 13 goals, 5 assists. Butcher's on the board with 2 goals, 16 assists. And Johansson with 7 goals, 10 assists. Rounds out your top 10. Goaltenders, Lundqvist will make his return to the Rangers net for the first time since the All-Star break. Georgiev's the backup at 6-9, 3.28 goals against, 897 save percentage and a shutout. Lundqvist is 15-12-7, 3.01 goals against, 908 save percentage. And it feels like he's winding his career down, and I'm not sure how many more years he's going to play, to be honest. On the New Jersey side, Kincaid will be the starter. That makes Blackwood the backup at 5-4. 2.41 goals against, 923 save percentage, 2 shutouts. Kincaid's 14-14-6, 3.1 goals against, a save percentage of 900, and 3 shutouts. So Kincaid trying to prove that he is starter material even still. Blackwood probably wants another chance to show, hey, I should be the guy that stays here and split starts with Kincaid. And Schneider, on a reconditioning stint in the AHL, his numbers have been abysmal. Last that I saw, and I don't know if they've played again since I saw, but his save percentage was in like the 868 range or somewhere around there. Pretty sure it was 868, but yeah, his record has not been good, and John Hines straight out saying he's having the same problems in the American League that he was having in the NHL with his play and his confidence level. Does not look good for Corey Schneider coming back to the NHL this year. It really isn't. But there you go. You're all set for tomorrow's 3 games. Let me know your winners, that kind of thing. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.